becoming more prevalent than any other weapon in war are drones. Drones now in the Ukraine-Russia war are some overwhelming majority of the casualties, like 80% of the casualties.
Are causing the casualties drones?
Drones.
I can believe it.
And so it's
And you can imagine the technology with these drones and how technologically advanced they're going to become. There's going to be assassination drones that are the size of a bee that will fly down and stick somebody and poison them immediately. Probably no telling what.
And it doesn't even have to be that size. I mean, again, like what we saw in the Ukraine-Russia conflict just recently over the last week, Ukraine had sent up, like our drones, our develop air drones. They're the size of like a shoebox, roughly speaking, right? Those are the types of drones that were used from Ukraine. They basically sent out a bunch of like these trucks, parked them outside of a Russian air base, and then they had all these drones that could be remotely piloted over Russia's cellular network, and from hundreds of miles away, be able to remotely fly these drones into their billions of dollars of Russian aircraft. And that same thing could be done. And I hate to sound this way. And again, I would never do this. Don't encourage anyone to do this. But there is already the technology in place to do the same, not to just our air bases within the United States, but any of our political leaders as well. The fact that we have not had an attack on the White House or, Donald Trump using this sort of technology is really quite a miracle. But I think it also goes to show how far behind we are in America that, the criminals, luckily, are not typically the ones at the cutting edge of using the technology that's available. Now, given there are exceptions to that, and we've talked about that to some degree, where we worked with law enforcement agencies where they've had problems with criminal organizations using drones to deliver contraband into prison. So, yeah, there are some early adopters even within criminal enterprises, but by and large, you don't typically get the typical on the street gangbanger,
right,
building drones and programming them.
If you had your world, then they will have access. More and more people are going to have access to drones and are going to become more and more. So the evil that drones will do, because with any new invention, right?
Like guns,
that have guns, aircraft, whatever,
computers. Right? Vehicles.
The good people benefit, the bad people turn it into evil. So it's still that humanity. Right. This brings me to the
gun doesn't pull the trigger, although we're getting with drones and robots where that is a possibility, right? And that's something that has been a constant discussion within the armed forces, whether or not these drones and robots can make their own kill decisions.
Well, ultimately, because we are human beings on this planet, there is going to be a reawakening of morality